The DC Extended Universe got off to a rocky start, with executives attempting to catch up to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in half the time. As a result, the world has a fractured continuity and uneven tone, and Warner Bros. Discovery may be reinventing the brand with The Flash in 2023. The villains, on the other hand, have been one of the shining points in the DC movie. While the films have split fans on a number of issues, most agree that the universe has produced some fantastic villains, including some of the finest in recent comic book films. Stealing the show isn't always a good thing, as Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor discovered in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. DC fans have previously seen Clark Kent's archenemy 3 times in Superman, Superman 2, and Superman Returns, so Eisenberg gave the character a new spin. In every moment, the younger, more charismatic Luthor was all over the place, without the typical cunning that made the character so appealing. Everyone was talking about him following a film starring the Big Three of DC, which wasn't a good thing. This portrayal was compared to Jim Carrey's Riddler rather than Gene Hackman's Luthor, and the character has not appeared in the DCEU since. Few films have brought the DCEU's fanbase closer together than Joss Whedon's Justice League 2017. The movie was a disaster, but the post-credits sequence with Lex Luthor and a surprise cameo by Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke provided some DCEU supporters hope for the future. Since word got out that Deathstroke would be the major villain in the Ben Affleck-led Batman solo picture, the buzz around Manganiello as the assassin for hire had been rising. While that project appears to have come to a standstill, Deathstroke's one appearance in the DCEU was a smash hit, complete with his comic-accurate outfit. Wonder Woman is a major step down from 2017's Wonder Woman. The only genuine improvement in 1984 came from the film's antagonist, Maxwell Lord. Lord isn't a genuine villain because he merely wants to salvage his firm and be a decent father to his kid, but his inner conflict and originally good intentions make him one of the DCEU's most fascinating antagonists. The DCEU has an excellent track record with casting, and Pedro Pascal was a wonderful pick who brought the role to life. As a result, his acting stood out in an otherwise lackluster picture. Aunt Jay Trow as Faora had one of the finest sequences in the whole DCEU when she faced Clark Kent in Smallville, despite being a minor character with no lines. In Man of Steel, the action and visual effects are fantastic, and they're on full show throughout this fight. The conflict also served to demonstrate Clark's inexperience and the distance he had to go before defeating the Kryptonians. Despite Faora's brief debut, it's a wonderful moment, and fans still speak about her nearly 9 years later. Darkseid's live-action debut, while only appearing for a few minutes, got everyone buzzing. Zack Snyder's return to the DCEU didn't disappoint after 4 years of anticipation, and the filmmaker brought the new God of Apocalypse with him. While Darkseid is mostly used to build up his eventual clash with the Justice League, what little the viewer sees of the supervillain is genuinely great. The 4-hour film's conclusion centers on Darkseid as he looks down Earth's Guardians after they deliver him Steppenwolf's head, setting up his attack on Earth. However, this is something that fans are unlikely to see on the big screen. When it came to introducing Starro to the big screen, James Gunn delivered one of the greatest surprises of the DCEU. The lone appearance of the interstellar starfish in the Suicide Squad was flawless. For the bulk of the film, it was merely hinted at until erupting onto the scene in the third act. Starro gets some fantastic growth in a film that focuses on villains compelled to do good, emphasizing the fact that the Thinker has been tormenting the monster for decades since it landed on Earth. This, along with its really scary abilities, makes for a fantastic villain that stands out in a film filled with fantastic characters. When James Wan was charged with adapting Aquaman in the character's standalone picture debut, he was given one of the most difficult challenges in the DCEU. He cast Patrick Wilson as Prince Orm, the Ocean Master, as his debut film's villain. His battles with Arthur are spectacular, as is his manipulation of the other kingdoms to combine all of Atlantis and assault the surface world. The film received plaudits for its visual effects and action, but few things sparked as much discussion as the suits, and Ocean Masters as one of the greatest in the DCEU. It's difficult to envision Steppenwolf being one of the greatest components of Zack Snyder's Justice League in a 4-hour film that includes the cinematic debuts of Darkseid, The Flash, Cyborg, and others, but that's precisely what occurred. Steppenwolf looked better, was more menacing than before, and most importantly, had a meaningful character development thanks to a big overhaul from Justice League 2017. Steppenwolf's main objective, rather than being driven by the adoration of the Mother Boxes, was to regain Darkseid's favor and return to Apocalypse. Steppenwolf's objective is what distinguishes him as one of the finest adversaries in the DCEU thus far. While Black Manta's entrance in 2018's Aquaman was more of an origin tale, and the film's focus was Arthur versus Ocean Master, Black Manta was one of the strongest portions of the picture. His outfit is one of the greatest in comic book film history, and his battle with Arthur was fantastic, setting the tone for the remainder of the series. The Manta was shown to have survived Arthur's meeting, and fans may now expect to see Yahya Abdul-Mateen reprise his role as the villain in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is planned to be released in 2023. Since his entrance in Man of Steel, Zodd has become the standard villain of the DCEU. In the film, he's a battle-hardened soldier who serves as the perfect counterbalance to the novice Kal-El. Michael Shannon is terrific in every scene, but the part when Zodd learns to adjust to Earth's climate, discarding his armor and yelling at Clark, is a standout. Even though he mourns the death of his comrades and planet, his melancholy evolves to hatred and anger, resulting in possibly the finest battle in the DCEU. The DCEU was launched with Man of Steel, and Zodd was the ideal antagonist. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button so I can feel all mushy inside. Also, click the subscribe button while you are there, and then since you are on such a clicking roll, why not click on another awesome video that is already loaded up right here. You don't even have to watch it, just let the video play at 1% while you eat your sushi or something.